Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Law Dog Sports, the weekend big show, bringing it to you just before the weekend because of some play-by-play obligations by yours truly and gearing up for a lot of college football this weekend. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, joined by my regular co-host and longtime partner here on the show, ruler of the airways, Jeremy Schroeder. And Jeremy, Marty Wandry giving me some props. What do you know about that? Clinton guy loving the new hat. Jeremy, I had to, much like an abusive relationship, the Zuckerberg has brought us back. It seemed like the Facebook Live gives us so much more interaction with our fan.
Seems like, we're too lazy to really, beat feet and get people over to YouTube. So,
I mean,
here we are.
It's a process, and we'll get there. Oh, Marty didn't mean my hat; he meant yours. So, Jeremy Schroeder, for those listening to the podcast only, is sporting an OKC Comets ball cap, which he recently procured. I've got on my Weatherford Big Dub. And I tell you, it's a lot of fun going on this weekend in sports, Jeremy, and it's so nice to be away from political ads and politics and the election. And I mean, I'll just say this. I have a niece who apparently inherited our knack for smartassism. She posted a Facebook post yesterday that said, just so everybody knows, I'm bringing potato salad to the Civil War. I hope everybody's okay with that. And me and my wife just about died. It's like, that kid's too much like a Ramsey.
So starting this weekend, I need to plan. Here we go.
Yeah. Potato salad. I'm sure macaroni salad's available to bring to. I don't know. I'll just say this. One of our super fans, and we love him to death. We love interacting with him on social media. Our fan up in Michigan was not quite aware how truly red he was. And first off, how'd red end up being with the Republicans? Red used to be communists, and now it's related to fascists. How's that work?
Wow.
Well. And then Connor Carr's chipping at people, and I love all of our fans. I love our program. I love our little community. I'm glad we don't talk politics on this show.
That's true. I don't know if you know this about me, but I lean right. So,
well, sure, yeah.
I grew up in Oklahoma, but I'm not insane about it.
Church family, God, guns, and country. I get it. I was a police officer for 29 years. You tend to lean towards the right. One thing that I used to talk to all my coworkers about was like, hey, if you want to be, conservative with your federal politics and maybe even your state politics to an extent, that's fine. But when it comes to municipal and county, I'm all for who gets the job done regardless of party, because that Mayor McCheese was a Republican and he screwed us at every turn. So screw that guy. So some check-ins already. Marty Wandry checking in. John Workman letting us know we have two fans. Thanks, John. Steve Anderson checking in, and he says talking OSU football is hard enough to talk about. Hey, I will talk about OSU football, particularly considering that firebrand coach of theirs who's really looking to alienate the deplorables within their fandom.
That was insane. He came off like a guy who was trying to get fired then.
Yeah. Do you think he'll head out to the parking lot and like drag Barry Sanders Heisman around and have a megaphone? I do not fear any reprisals. You can all sit and spin.
Set Walt Garrison's jersey on fire.
Oh gosh. Burn the 1945 national title trophy.
Oh wow. Army might get upset about that.
Max Patton checking in from out in Sayre, America, and Steve Anderson down southeastern Oklahoma. We appreciate them very much. Hey, before we get into sports and, on the heels of politics, as I mentioned, I'm really, really pray that none of our interactions with our friend in Michigan, who should be checking in a little bit, Steve Anderson. We've never needed Mike Leach more. I put that out the other night. Mike Leach, Norm Macdonald, and Bill Walton. Without those three, this world is terrible. But
That is true.
our friend Dan Narva, I just pray that like they don't look at his social media and like start tracking him back some, or
He's a member of an alt-right group, the Law Dog Sports Podcast. Whoa,
they're seditionists. they want to break out the SEC.
oh my God.
But Steve Anderson's exactly right. We've never needed Mike Leach more. And but no, it was interesting. And just my only take on it is I follow politics through pop culture. And Saturday Night Live has been a part of my life for the 50 years that they've been on. I remember watching it as a 5 and 6 year old, which nobody should have been letting me watch it then. But maybe 6 or 7, I can't remember. But I tell you, it's noticeable how they used to really ding both sides up until the 08 election.
Yep.
When Barack Obama came in, they went totally blue.
Yep.
And they were fans of him, and that's fine, charismatic guy, blah, blah, blah. But I was watching some skits on the TBD network, which is showing a lot of reruns, some from the 90s and 2000s. And they did one where they were imitating John Kerry, and they were just blasting him in the sketch for being a flip-flopper. And then they did one in 08, just before the election or sometime, where they were talking about the bailout of all the big banks. And they basically, blasting Pelosi and the Democrats for being in on it, and stuff. I mean, you don't see that nowadays. You don't see them bad rapping Democrats at all. But anyways, that's my take on politics, and that's where I'll leave it at. Rest in peace and a big sky point to Ben Herbstreit. Sad news today. I mean,
that was awful.
It was. And I tell you, Ben is probably what brought me back to game day.
True. Yeah.
Really?
I think I said that today. It hits you. Every every man has a dog that they still think about every day.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
We lost our Zebby in 2018, October of 2018, and yeah, there's pictures of him around our house. It's like losing a family. You are losing a family member.
Oh yeah.
So, man, and really, in all seriousness, kudos to Herbstreit for bringing that out, and and exposing, that a dog like that just really can soothe the temperature, I think.
Okay, so let's get over the somberness here. Marty's asking what we think about OU open as a 2.5 point favorite. And now they're a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, hold on to that. We were just about to jump into OU football, I promise. Steve Anderson, the 1992 SNL presidential debate was always tops. Dana Carvey playing Ross Perot and George Bush, and Phil Hartman's Bill Clinton. That was great. Yeah. Hey, real quick, before we jump into that, you're on Instagram, right?
I dabble.
You dabble. Okay, so I can't remember if it was Instagram or Facebook, but it was a showcase of all the best golf chants.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Give me back my son.
And then there was another one where some guy yelled a line from There Will Be Blood. I've abandoned my child. I about died. And even the people that were filming, and I can't remember which golfer it was, if it was Dustin Johnson or who, but even the people filming the tee off, after he yelled, give me back my son, they started cracking up. So I thought you had probably seen that.
I saw that. I've seen that several times, and it gets better every time.
Yeah, I've abandoned my child.
I'm talking about the SNL thing, though. Was it John Lovitz when he did Dukakis?
Oh yeah, the great line. How am I losing to this guy? Oh yeah. So politics is, of course, here's the thing, and I lean right. I'm very independent, borderline libertarian. But the thing is I love seeing the cocky side get shown the door. And so Bill Burr hosts Saturday Night Live this week, and he's pretty hilarious. But
yes, he is.
All the money they invested into Kamala Harris being portrayed by Maya Rudolph, and then they had her on last Saturday, which apparently was an FCC violation.
Yeah. So, Trump got equal time on Sunday Night Football.
Exactly.
Guess what more people watch?
Oh, yeah. And so many people that have been SNL supporters over the years just kind of bail.
But are they going to bring Gillis in to be Trump now for 4 years?
Well, they've got the guy Brian Austin Johnson or whatever.
Come on.
He's actually pretty good. I mean, he goes in and out of exact pitch perfect Trump voice.
Sure.
Like he'll start a sentence and it's perfect, and then he kind of drifts out of it. But Daryl Hammond did a great Trump as well. Not a fan of Baldwin, but anyway, so politics is over. We're on to college football. There's some on tonight. Tom Herman, the Florida Atlantic Owls were down 14-0 to East Carolina last I saw, and their quarterback got knocked out. Tom Herman, man, that I think the mothership posted him on there strictly for must-see TV purposes because after he went after the South Florida coach last week, it's on with him.
Didn't he get into it with Gundy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gundy, and
he was being held back from Gundy.
Openly mocked the Missouri quarterback. Oh gosh, what's his name?
That was Chase Daniel, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Chase Daniel.
Oh.
That was it was the kid that's with he was with. Is he with Denver now?
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock, yes.
Was it Drew Lock?
It was Drew Lock.
Yeah.
With this thing here.
Yeah, that whole deal when was that the Texas Bowl.
Was that yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. So Vodka Tom is must-see TV because he will twist off in a heartbeat. Remember him flipping off the camera on their recruiting day?
Yeah. He's just a class act, ain't he?
Yeah.
Hey, Cunado was watching.
Hey, Lenny.
Speaking of Cunado, we got to hook up with Marty at the football game last week. Had an adult beverage. That was a great time. Good to meet him.
Marty is a great dude.
Yeah, that was awesome getting to meet one of you guys. When's Dan coming down?
Huh?
Dan needs to come down.
Yeah, we need. That's probably a project we need to work on. Is fly Dan to Oklahoma, get him to what they're closing in on the final home game. Is that the Bama game in 2 weeks?
Yep.
Yeah. Is there a bye? Is it bye week after Missouri this week?
It is. Yeah, they're idle. Yep.
Yeah. So it was an
week to not get healthy.
Yeah, I was looking at a bye last week against Maine, and man, Javante Barnes with a big rushing attack, over 200 yards for him.
Now he's
big
questionable this week.
Do what?
Now he's questionable this week.
Yeah, several questionables on the OU injury report, and but earlier in the week, Jeremy, and just to wrap up the Maine game, it was a blowout. It was what it was supposed to be. They go out, handle an FCS team down 7-0 initially. That's always kind of odd, but they picked it up. 90-yard touchdown play to JJ Hester. It just shows that bad receivers on bad, not very good receivers on bad secondary with a quarterback with time to throw can hit big plays. That's what I took away.
Well, he scrambled out of the pocket, and that was a dot.
Yeah.
He couldn't have thrown that ball any better. And Hester almost dropped the daggone thing.
Yeah. He has dropped a few that would have been big catches this season, but we'll see how it goes. But anyways, earlier in the week, it was thrown out that I guess Jalil Farouk and Deion Burks are listed as questionable, but they were practicing, I think, or talk about, I guess Jackson Arnold himself kind of quoted, good to have them two studs back or something of that nature.
The latest injury report has them both as probable. So,
well, that's a step up.
Sure. Now if they could just get Andrel Anthony back, who 13 months ago tore his ACL, and we haven't seen him since.
I don't really remember how good he was.
He was really good.
Did he tear it in the Texas game?
It was the Texas game.
And he had a great first half, right?
Yeah, he was he was balling. He had, I think, 4 or 5 catches in that first half, and that was it.
Then gets hurt, and then the Nick Anderson season kind of begun.
Be nice to see him out there too, but.
Well, there will be a former Sooner on the field for Missouri, Theo Weiss, who actually leads their team in receiving. So that'll be interesting.
Theo and Caden Green.
Yeah, the offensive lineman who I think is listed as questionable.
He might not even
maybe probable. Anymore.
Yeah, he got yanked out of that. Who were they playing? It was UMass. Was it UMass?
Yeah, it was, I think.
Yeah, yanked out of that game.
Missouri has been an up and down team. Theo Weiss, 37 catches, 482 yards, and a touchdown. Their quarterback, Cook, is it Brady Cook?
Yes.
He's listed. I mean, was he on the injury report? Because he's been battling a hand. He's had an ankle and hand in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
I am efforting that right now. I haven't seen it yet.
I had it pulled up, but I had to switch over on my phone. 7 touchdowns and an interception, Jeremy, for a team that was rolling into the conference play. They've really kind of taken a nosedive in a way. Is that why OU's favored by 3 now?
I guess so. Okay, so Brady Cook is listed as questionable. And Sam Horn, they have another quarterback named Sam Horn. That's okay.
Is he from the Columbia Horns?
I guess so. Yeah, they have. I don't know who any of these guys are. So but Brady Cook is questionable.
Yeah.
So
you were at the game Saturday. I didn't have ESPN Plus. I didn't watch it. I listened to a bit of it on the air radio. But did you take away much from Joe John Finley's play calling in that game, from offensive line production? Obviously, a running back runs for 200 yards. If you go ahead.
I learned everything I need to know about Eddie Pierre-Louis on one play in the second half.
Was that the one where he just dogged the dude?
He drove the kid 15 yards and then, threw him in a pile. What was it, Captain Insano's pile driver?
Yeah,
got a personal foul like that. All right, that's nasty. I like
Captain Insano shows no moisey.
It's like, get his big rear end out there regularly.
Mm-hmm.
He can play in the next 3 games and the bowl and still be a red shirt. So get those young guys out there and play them, because I think they are they're the guys that should be playing.
Yeah. So big win this week. It would be a big win this week if they go up and handle Missouri. The Luther Burden guy, he's came in and he made some big time plays. Have teams just kind of focused in on him and been able to kind of shut him down a bit?
Yeah, he's been the focal point of their offense. That's why Theo's been able to get loose. Now, make no mistake, Theo Weiss is a fine receiver, but Burden's just half step better. But he's getting a safety rolled over the top of him. He's not able to get deep, so he's being handled a little bit. The SEC's nasty. All kinds of defense.
What's OU's philosophy on that? Because
probably let him get open between the high safety and the short corner and give him 15 yards every play. That seems to be the philosophy.
So you're saying defense could be an issue this week as well as offense?
Front 7, no. Front 7's not an issue. Front 7 hadn't been an issue all year. It's that secondary.
Yeah. Luther Burden III, averaging 11.3 yards per catch. He's got long of 4 touchdowns on the season. Rushing, it's Nate Noel for them, 5.9 yards.
Who's out this week?
Huh? Yeah, I thought I saw him on there. So obviously it'd be either Marcus Carroll or Jamal Roberts. If Brady Cook isn't going, then that definitely behooves the OU offense well. The only time I'm scared of a string quarterback is if he comes in mid-game. That's when they'll dominate an OU defense.
Of course. And they've got some tape of this kid, so hopefully they've watched a little bit of it.
Yeah. The thing about this Missouri Tigers team is they came into this season with high expectations, ranked in the top 10 all the way up through non-conference play. And then they just kind of falter. And apparently we're freezing up on everything. This is why we switched to YouTube. It is. So we'll see what Jeremy does here, if he unfreezes or if the whole thing kicks off. Let me get out of that. So Jeremy, you're back.
There you are.
Okay, I could see you talking on the Facebook stream on my
Oh,
phone.
really? You could see me because I couldn't tell I was even.
You
I
were
just saw it.
frozen on my end, so
Okay.
that's
I'll fix
probably the prime reason why we switched over to
There it was. Yeah.
to YouTube. I don't remember these issues on the YouTubes. So screw you, Zuckerberg. We're leaving you. So anybody who's watching this and wants to let people know that have followed us in the past or would like to follow us or be tuned in, this is it. This is kind of a final farewell on YouTube. We just I can't keep dealing with that. But so anyways, I was talking about Missouri coming into the season with high expectations, ranked high. At one time before we started, it was either before OU started non-conference play or they went into the loss after Tennessee. I mean, it was a slate of Alabama, Mississippi, and Missouri all ranked in the top 10, plus Tennessee at the time. So, obviously Mississippi and Ole Miss and Missouri have fallen a bit, but that doesn't mean that they're not still really dangerous.
Oh, they are dangerous, but they don't have a lot to play for. If you look at their remaining schedule, I think if South Carolina can win another ball game, they may get in that top 25 and be a good win for them. But after that, it's Mississippi State and Arkansas.
Yeah.
So that strength of schedule is really going to take a hit. I don't see they beat Texas A&M when they were 25th. They beat Boston College.
Who beat A&M?
Okay, no, they lost to A&M.
Yeah,
sorry.
Missouri got hammered by A&M.
Reading is fundamental. Let's see. They beat Boston College, who was ranked at the time, and that's their only ranked win.
Yeah.
So
overtime with Vanderbilt
by Bama.
At the time, overtime with Vanderbilt was kind of scoffed at. Now, in hindsight, we look at it and say, yeah, they were very fortunate to get out of that one.
Yeah, no kidding. Vandy had not hit their stride yet.
Yeah. Well, Pavia is a heck of a quarterback.
He really is.
I followed him a bit last year when he was at New Mexico State. So OU goes up to Columbia. It's a road game. The last time that OU and Missouri played was 2011, I think somebody said.
2011. I'm trying to remember the 2011 season. Man, that was Landry Jones, right?
Yeah, it would have been Landry. I think it was one of the years that OU played Florida State.
That sounds right. Ryan Broyles was on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm pulling up the 2011 Oklahoma Sooners. Let's see.
I was just trying to remember if it was in Columbia or if it was at Norman.
It was in Norman. Oklahoma won that game 38-28.
So did Brad Smith ever beat OU in Columbia? I know one season they did the fake field goal with Chris Chester.
That was
scored the TD.
Yeah, that was the game when the grass was a foot tall.
Yeah.
And and Brad, he was just all over the place. I don't think they ever did.
So that would have been 02, I think. And then they didn't play him at 03 or 04. Either 05 or 06. I want to say they lost to Missouri at some point in time in the 2000s.
I just can't remember when it was. I mean, they beat them so few times. I'm trying to effort that.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I would, but it freezes you up if I look up on.
Yeah, I know that's what. And I'm doing it on my phone, so my little thumbs are just going as fast as I can. Yeah, here we go. I've got the Oklahoma Missouri football rivalry. Thanks, Wikipedia. And they don't have.
He said it was the last year. I knew 2011 was the last year for Missouri in the Big 12.
Okay.
You said OU won that one?
In 2011, yeah.
Yeah.
38-28.
So would they have played him in
field?
Would they have played him in 2010 then?
Hang on, I'm still in the 40s. Okay. So, Missouri beat Oklahoma in 2010.
Okay.
36-27, and that was at Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I'm trying to think who was on that Missouri team that was of any note.
Was that Pinkel?
Yeah, I think it would have been. Pinkel was
Yeah.
coach when they played OU in the '07 Big 12 championship, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Came from Toledo, took over Missouri.
He was a heck of a coach at Missouri. He
Mm-hmm.
won a lot of games there.
Yeah.
James Franklin was on that team. Was a
Jay
quarterback.
Franklin?
James Franklin.
James Franklin.
I don't think that's the same James Franklin.
No, I can't imagine.
LaDamian Washington. Okay. Let's see if I know any of these people. Andrew Goshkar. No, I don't know any of these guys.
Yeah.
I don't think. Oh, Blaine Gabbert.
There's so one. Gabbert was a QB, right?
Yeah.
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 He was a good quarterback in college. I mean,
what was that big receiver's name that ended up finishing at OU but never played a game?
Oh, daggone it. 3 names. He's a 3-name guy.
There's a Green somewhere in there.
Yeah. Maybe. It was something Green. Lenny Rowland says 07. That would have been that. I don't know if they played him in the regular season, but they beat him at the Alamo Dome in the Big 12 championship, and that really was an outstanding defensive strategy by Brent in that one.
Michael Sam was on that team
in 2010.
Yes.
Okay. But he played most of his time in the he played.
It was Dorial Green Beckham.
Dorial Green
That's who
Beckham.
we're thinking of.
Yeah, went to Mizzou. Did he get in trouble and then tried to come to OU?
He came to OU and never got eligible. Alden Smith was on that team.
Oh, Alden Smith. He was
heck of a player.
Rush. Yeah. Michael Sam, I know he played at least 2 seasons in the SEC. So,
yep,
2012 and 2013 must have been his time because they actually played in an SEC championship when he was there.
Wasn't that their first year in the league?
First or second, yeah.
Yeah.
Which tells you what trash the SEC East was back then.
Oh, exactly. I mean, Missouri was kind of passed around the Big 12 for ever.
That would have been Mark Richt, Georgia seasons, right?
Yeah. I can't believe they fired him.
Michael Busso checking in.
Boos.
Lenny says twice in 07, so I don't remember the regular season.
That was the game in Norman. Curtis Lofton took the handoff out of Chase Daniel's hands and about scored a touchdown. Yeah. And then the second time was in the championship when Missouri was ranked number 1.
Yeah, because they had beaten Kansas that year.
And OU beat them like a drum. Yeah.
To take number 1 and win the North.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then OU got no love from the BCS that season. That would have been a good OU team to see in the in a 4-team playoff. Just going to say
that team was hot at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
They lost a couple games early. They had no business losing, and boy, they were playing great at the end of the season.
I'd like to have seen the 2016 team get a shot in a 4-team series. Also,
I'd like to see the 2016 team with a functional, competent defense.
They got better. Because remember, that was
better. He turned me into a newt.
I got better. That was the season of Mahomes and Mayfield.
Oh my
goodness! The 10,000 yards of total offense between the teams.
And I know I'm just going to take this right off the rails, but how good was that game Monday night?
Yeah, that was a heck of a game, and we can talk some NFL here in a minute. But anyways, to wrap up OU, I took Missouri to cover the 3, which I don't remember if I got them at 3 on our college football pick'em.
No, they
was it 2.5?
Yeah, it was 2.5.
Yeah, I think I took Missouri to cover the 2.5. I'd love to be wrong. What? Obviously, offensive line play. You got to go up there and block and pray that Tatum and Barnes can get yardage. Right?
Maybe just Tatum. Caleb Hicks. I don't know. Barnes is on that injury list.
Man, Lenny saying you suck, Chuck. What the heck, man?
Man, that's not very nice.
What did I do?
Hey, Texas is playing the Florida Gators, and the Gators are bringing back Sunbelt Billy for another season.
I saw that. I read the article.
21 and a half points.
His It's funny that Strickland, and I wrote this down. Scott Strickland is the athletic director. Well, hold on. Back on OU. Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
I think I would predict a score of 32-28, and I'll probably say that's Mizzou.
I haven't thought about this at all.
Now,
give me 24-17 Sooners.
Sooners? Okay. Now,
they can't score 30. But
two questions for you. Does OU have a 100-yard rusher? Actually, it'll be 3.
Yes.
Okay. Does Jackson Arnold pass for over 200 yards?
Yes.
And do Deion Burks and Jalil Farouk contribute significantly?
One will.
Okay. Are you
I don't know if
Farouk, because I think Farouk's got more heart than the rest of them.
I think Farouk will get out there and he will make plays.
Yeah.
If he's healthy,
Yeah.
I think Burks is a fantastic player. I just don't know how tough
what was his injury?
I don't know. It was
we've joked about soft tissue.
I've heard it was a bruised thigh. I've heard it was a upper body soft tissue injury. Maybe take a couple Triactin and rub some dirt on it and get your rear end out there.
Something.
But I don't know what's going on with the OU medical staff. They've always been extremely cautious with sending guys out there with any kind of bumps and bruises.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like a unit where caution should probably be thrown to the wind, unless you were going to redshirt the guys. I don't know.
Man, are we really living in a world right now where the Georgia Bulldogs are going on the road to Ole Miss and they're only a 2.5-point favorite?
Yeah, I think people have been pretty lukewarm on the Dogs this year. They go into Austin and roll them defensively, but there were some cracks there at the end that my question is like, in 2 weeks from now, what are we saying about the Texas Longhorns? I mean, are they rolling into College Station still in the top 3?
Man,
don't they have South Carolina still?
Yeah, and they've got Florida this weekend. Now, I picked Florida just because I think they're going to stay within 21.5 points.
It's in Austin, right?
Yeah. I've never been wild about Austin's home field
I hate the
advantage.
spread. I mean, I think that spread's vicious.
It's too much. Especially, they're going to come out fired up and because Billy got, they're keeping their coach. So I think they're going to be able to get in that 21.5. They ain't going to win.
I think Lagway's been hurt, hasn't he?
Man, if Lagway's down, then they're
toast. John Workman points out, and something we'll get back on with Uga, Carson Beck is just an awful quarterback. He's no good.
Someone said that the amount of eye black he's wearing, it looks like he's auditioning for a role in Tropic Thunder too.
Did you see his girlfriend posted a picture of the two of them, said QT at QT at QB, and then somebody said shitty QB or something like that. Just vicious. But anyways, it's just
remember they had Justin Fields and they chose a small walk-on.
Yeah, and what a gamer Stetson Bennett was. But that Georgia defense can raise their heads up at any time. I mean, it's just
oh yeah.
I mean, they really can. When they want to,
loaded.
They can dominate. I mean,
they're as loaded as you can be on that side of the football.
What are they, like a half, a bad half? A really bad half defensively, and they lose at Tuscaloosa. And
because they were great in the second half.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Dude, Utes or Cougs?
Well, I'll tell you what, before we jump into just straight picks, so I've got Mizzou covering. You've got OU covering.
Yep.
Right. And then back on Florida, that AD, Scott Strickland, it was interesting. I read up on him, paying attention, and like I do. He fired Jim McElwain, brought in Dan Mullen, who he'd worked with now I may have the order wrong. Brought in Dan Mullen, who he'd worked with at MC State, Mississippi State, and then gets rid of Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
It's like Dan Lord bless that guy. I mean, having to put up with Joey Galloway on Saturday nights and,
Well, I mean, just until he gets the nod as the next OC in Norman.
well, that's what I was going to ask you. A
Sorry.
win this Saturday and a good offensive performance, does it give Joe John Finley a little more credo to maybe take the job?
I think that they are not going to take that chance because we're getting to fix it or it's your job territory for Brent.
Yeah.
I think they were going to go with a big, not necessarily a big name, but somebody who has proven that they can coordinate an offense at a high level.
What
They're
about
going to
Steve
swing as.
Spurrier Jr.?
I mean, if it was Steve Spurrier Sr., I'd say, heck yeah. Maybe Kevin Wilson would decide he didn't want to be a head coach anymore and just swing all back to Norman. I don't know.
Do it, Chip Kelly, Kev. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
the
Tired of
coordinating
recruiting?
is.
Come on down, buddy.
I mean, really, the coordinating's got to be better than trying to muster up funds and manage NIL for a school like Tulsa.
I mean, seriously, outside of one game, there's not a whole lot of better play callers in college football than Kevin Wilson.
Yeah. Which game are you talking about? 08 Florida?
Exactly.
Yeah. He had opportunities there. I still say if DeMarco Murray's not used on kickoff returns against – that was Missouri in the 08 Big 12 championship, wasn't it? Was it Colorado? It was Missouri. Yeah.
I think it was Missouri.
Beat that butt in Arrowhead.
Was that the 62-21 game?
It was bad. I was there.
It was real bad.
Yeah. But if DeMarco Murray's healthy in that Orange Bowl, I like OU's chances a lot because some of those openings that Chris Brown just made big chunk plays but didn't get in, I think DeMarco skates in.
And that says a lot because Chris Brown had 100 yards in that game.
Oh, he broke off some big runs in that first half, and they settled for field goals. And
they couldn't punch it in from the one.
Couldn't punch it in. I think with DeMarco, you got a different story on that. Trying to pull up Yahoo Sports so I can look at my pick'em without pulling up every game in the country. And for some reason, I'm unable to see a live broadcast on our Facebook page. There we go. All right, so to see a live. Let me turn this stupid volume down. So anyways, let me get our pick'em pulled up, and it was tied 7-7 on the Thursday night football game just a little bit ago.
Oh, let me go back to it. I'm watching college ball now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just saw it on the scoreboard.
You made me feel bad about myself.
Man, my fantasy team pulled one out last week. I don't know how, but Baker helped me out.
Oh yeah, Baker had a hell of a game.
Kelsey actually did a little bit, so that helped me.
He had 14 catches.
He what?
He had like 14 catches.
Yeah. No touchdowns, but does he have a touchdown on the season?
I think he has one.
I don't think so.
I think he has one.
All right, so you were talking about Texas in the 21.5.
Yep.
Yeah, I took Texas to cover that, but you know what? I think since I've got it pulled up, I'm going to go with you and say the Gators cover that 21.5. That's a lot of points.
He scored a touchdown against the Raiders.
Okay, I must have not even watched any of that game.
10 for 90 and a tutty.
How do you like Matt Campbell coming off of a loss, giving 3 at Lawrence?
Kansas seems like a team in disarray.
Yeah.
Campbell will have those guys ready. They don't have any more margin for error this season. They'll get it done.
For our friend Steve Anderson's purposes, I will say this: I like OSU in the 11.5 in Fort Worth.
I want to. I don't believe in Oklahoma State right now. And I usually think Gundy puts a good product on the field, but I don't see it. 11.5 is not a lot of points. They're playing as poorly as they are. I don't think they're going to get in 11.5 points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not sold on Sonny Dykes to take another step. And what, they dropped one to Baylor on a last second run.
Yeah.
I'll take OSU until I'm going to take OSU the rest of the season, at least to cover. They may not win, but I think 11.5 is a lot of points that the Frogs would be giving.
That's true, but I still don't think I don't think Oklahoma State's going to do a whole lot the rest of this season. I
Well, I
still have
mean,
a lot of belief.
if you told me that Gordon's holding himself out to prepare for the draft, I might would go with you on that.
They've had
Oh,
Gordon
hey,
all year, Chuck, but what have they done with him?
yeah, I mean, all it takes is a couple of plays, though.
Mm.
Hey, can you effort? Did I see correctly today? Somebody put, and maybe it was a fake post. Is Miller Moss looking at going in the transfer portal?
He got benched.
I knew he got benched, but somebody put a tweet out, and it might. I meant, and what it was, I saw it, and I was like, I bet that's fake. And then I forgot to really double check and see.
I don't know. I mean, who do they have? Do they have a quarterback coming in?
They've got a kid that's sitting behind him that I think was a high end recruit. That's a Polynesian kid, if I remember right.
Yeah, he's the kid from, was it UNLV?
Yes.
Yeah, he
Transferred in.
and look what Muleshoe does with transfer quarterbacks,
Oh yeah,
especially if they're mobile.
if he doesn't recruit him, man, he can do a lot with him.
Uh-huh.
Do you who do you like in Death Valley this weekend?
I think I picked LSU.
Yeah,
It's a 3 points. What
LSU's
Bama's
getting
favored by
3.
3.
Yeah, I took
This is that
Tigers.
time of year that Brian Kelly usually has his teams playing about as good as anybody in the country. They're
Yeah.
playing in Baton Rouge at night.
At night.
Baton Rouge.
Back on
It's
the
Amanda
back on
Day.
the Pokes game against TCU. You mentioned we kind of touched on it at the beginning of the show. Gundy basically alienates 2/3 of the OSU fan base this week at his press conference. The president issues an apology or a statement, that hey, we're not down with that. Man, that Scattaboo kid, he just beat the dog out of them last week. I mean, they did not have anybody that looked like they wanted to come close to tackling that guy.
Their defense has given up. That's the second game this year
And
I've
he's
seen
a-
that defense just
He's a
be
good
absolute.
back.
Yeah. That's the second that game, and was it the Baylor game? Their defense just looks like they've given up.
There's a lot of quit in them right now. Arizona State's a pretty decent team.
They are.
How they lost to Cincinnati, I don't know. But and interestingly enough, this week in Tempe, Gus Malzahn and his UCF Knights are catching 3. And I don't understand why UCF is the beneficiary of decent spreads this season.
Who did they blow out last week?
It was Arizona, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
Which they've tossed it in.
Yeah. Man.
That Fafita kid, there was some stat that I saw earlier this week about his throwaways. And I mean, it's enormous the amount of balls he's throwing away.
Yeah, well, Oklahoma had a quarterback that was throwing the ball away on 4th down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
if you throw it away, it can't be intercepted, right?
I like Arizona State, and I like BYU given the 4 in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I picked BYU as well, so we're probably both wrong. Rivalry games. BYU is playing great.
The Holy War.
Utah hadn't done much in a while. And saying that, Utah probably win by 3 scores.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't have an injury report pulled up to see if Cam Rising is going to hobble out there or not.
I don't think the Big 12 does an injury report, do they?
They don't.
Yeah. This is a second tier conference.
Yeah.
Got to take care of the gamblers.
Don't mean as much. Indiana giving 14.5 in Bloomington to the Wolverines. A lot of people still think Michigan's a pretty salty team. Are they already coach shopping and looking at getting rid of Sharon Moore?
I would be. That offense is just painful to watch. They're going to get beat by every bit of that 14.5 points in Indiana. Signetti is the Godfather is going to blow them out. Google him.
He said they sleep with the fishes.
That's right.
Anyways,
Concrete shoes. See.
yeah. It's you know what? And I gotta do some correcting here, Jeremy. So I gotta go back and make some changes. I took OU to cover the 2.5 on our pick 'em.
Uh-huh.
And then the tiebreaker, what do you think my score was I picked?
24-17.
You guessed it. You nailed it.
Yep.
I've got UGA beating Ole Miss 35-33.
Let me see. I don't have that. Yeah, I do have that score, don't I?
Yeah.
We same pick 'em. Haha.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I have the Rebs 35-31.
But that would have me covering that would still have me covering the 2.5.
There you
2 and a
go.
hook, I think.
2 and a hook.
My math's not mathing, but whatever. All right. Well, a lot of great college football. I like Clemson to get back on the winning stride, 6.5 at Blacksburg. I just don't think Virginia Tech's got anything this year. So that's about that on that. OSU, like we mentioned, they're obviously a walking wounded defensively. What I want to know, and I need to ask the kid, is, I mean, there's a kid from out here in Western Oklahoma that's one of their defensive linemen, and they're depleted, and I don't understand why Gundy won't play him. You know,
Who knows?
talking about Aiden Kelly, and I'll have to look a little closer. He may have gotten some plays, but he's not showing up on the stat sheet. But he's a good defensive lineman. Ethan Downs at OU, I noticed he was on the injury report, but is he probable or questionable?
I think he's probably
Yeah.
Downs. You're not keeping him off the field.
No, it's his senior year. He's going to be out there. So anyways, Lenny brought up a good point, or we talked about it, the Monday night game, Baker and Patrick Mahomes. Man, I think you threw it out on Twitter, you got to go for it. You have a chance to lead. And then if you put here's the thing. What's worse? Putting the onus on your defense that how do I say this? By kicking the extra point, you put the onus on your defense to say he's not going to be able to get them in field goal range in the time a lot. What was there? 45 seconds left, 50 seconds left?
Yes. Yeah.
And he didn't.
Uh-huh.
They're not that kind of offense this year.
No.
They're they're a solid offense. They got players, but they're not making 60 yards in 13 seconds.
But how? But who cares? I mean, would you rather?
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose either way. I mean,
my question is, what's worse? Because we always talk about teams that go for it on fourth down. It's like, what kind of message is that sending to your defense? But here's what's worse: not going, going for the tie. I think you say you tell your defense, hey, you guys almost picked him off twice on the last possession. Let's see if we can do it again. Or, then you've got Baker's reaction after they lose.
Yeah, he's like, oh God. You know what? Yeah, you can't keep giving the Reaper chances. He's one of the greatest we've ever seen at it.
They're at home. It's a rainy night. They got the Stripes pitching for him. I mean, it's
wow.
It's
He's starting to get some connection with DeAndre Hopkins. Kelsey.
Oh, there was a connection. All right.
Football. That ball he threw to him when he just tossed it up out of that crowd, one crowd into the other. You just see these two big mitts go and snatch it right from the defensive back. Yeah,
dude still got skills. But anyways, so Bengals lead the Ravens 14-7. They're kind of fighting for their playoff lives, aren't they?
Yeah, they're 4-5 now.
4-5. The AFC North's really tough. I mean, Baltimore probably needs to get something going. So looking at the NFL slate for Sunday, Jeremy, I would say that, it's funny because all of our friends that are Cowboys fans, they're 7.5-point dog at home against Philly.
But they just picked up Jonathan Mingo.
Whoa.
He has 127 yards this year.
Yes, he does. He's an LSU kid, wasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in Dallas. Dak's hurt, so they bring in another receiver that hadn't really done a whole lot. It's the worst use of the phrase "all in" when you're all in is we're going to play all our backups and we're still we're going to give Dak all the money.
Over under on Sunday for the Cowboys and Eagles is 43.5. I think there's a chance Saquon Barkley could backwards hurdle an entire defensive line for the Cowboys.
I don't think they have anybody left to play defense. All those guys are hurt.
By the way, I'm not able to pick up comments. So if you see any that we need to read off, let me know.
Okay. Let's see. I've got Marty says go for 2 on the road. Well, yeah, duh. You don't want to keep giving the
but Marty's a Chiefs fan like you.
Well, yeah, but I'm not giving. If I'm playing Mahomes, it's like I'm into this right now. I'm not giving that dude another chance because eventually, he's gonna do it. And it always seems like it's the biggest moments. John Workman said Bulls made a bad call on that. Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of your perspective. Me, I'm not giving Mahomes I'm not giving him another chance. We're either winning or losing it right now. Lenny, Chuck's redemption. Baker would have won the game with the 2-point conversion. OU by 2, and OSU still sucks. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Cunyato. They are struggling. The six game losing streak, I promise you, was not anywhere on the expectation list for the Cowboys.
We watched OSU's kicker Logan Ward grow up at our tailgate, so Lenny's just giving a hard time.
Yeah. Giants at Carolina, 49ers at Tampa. Baker, man, short week to have to come in and face Frisco with potentially bringing out Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, but Sterling Shepard, he made some stinking plays Monday night.
They got just a connection.
The body control, just looking great out there. And he was retired.
Yeah,
before the season started.
Looking at the 49ers injury report, Deebo Samuel questionable. They still show Christian McCaffrey on the IR, but he's been practicing this week, I thought I heard.
Yeah, I think this is the first week he's eligible to come off of it. Is Ayuk out?
Ayuk is out. He's on IR, ACL, and MCL.
Okay.
Greenlaw's out with an Achilles.
Hey, if you're going to get hurt, at least get your money first. Good job, Ayuk.
If they were to, if God forbid they were to lose Trent Williams, they might as well just forfeit the season.
Hold on, how many guys have gotten big contracts this year and are now out for several weeks or at least a season? You got Ayuk,
all but offensive linemen.
You got Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
If I was CD, I would be very careful.
Yeah, he needs to watch out. Baker Mayfield questionable with a toe. Sterling Shepard questionable with a hamstring. Mike Evans is out with his hamstring. Chris Godwin on IR with an ankle. Man, these NFL injury reports really start to stack up. But hey, Baker Mayfield's leading the NFL in touchdown passes.
He's leading in total touchdowns.
Sure.
He's having a great year, and he's throwing some interceptions. True, but he doesn't have a lot of his, best weapons.
No. And it kind of showed in the initial stages when Mike Evans got hurt. I mean,
and when
you're a safety blanket, and you've got to break yourself out of constantly looking for him.
True, and a lot of those are he's trying to force the ball into guys because that's who he wants to get the ball. Get the ball in the hands of your big guys. Same thing when he was in Cleveland when he had Beckham.
Yeah,
remember after Odell got hurt that season, he didn't throw another pick for like 8 games.
Yeah. And then always, as I say, when your best receiver's covered,
check it down.
Check it down, baby.
Check it down.
Man, you're batting 1,000 tonight. So, anyways, Oklahoma City Thunder, Jeremy, they lose their first game last night, 124-122 at Denver Ball Arena. Is that the Mason Jar Company?
I think so, yeah. Still got a chance to go 81-1.
Sure. And so they were down 16 in the third quarter. Then they come back And then Denver goes on a 17-7 run late after they were both scored in the hundreds. J-Dub, Jalen Williams, 29, 10, and 9. SGA with 28 points. Nikola Jokic, triple-double, 23 points, 20 rebounds, 16 assists. Russell Westbrook, 29 points, and then Michael Porter Jr., 24 points. I mean, it's the NBA. To start out, what, 7-0?
They played 7 games in 10 days.
Yeah.
It's tough.
One thing about it, though, is interesting, Jeremy, is they're home for 6 games straight.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be nice.
It's going to be nice. They didn't shoot that well last night, 44%. Denver shot 47%. Each team made 16 threes. It's just, Oklahoma City shot 2 more. But, the thing about it is one thing that they did mention is up until that game last night, Oklahoma City was holding teams to 95, averaging 95 points, giving up a night.
Yeah.
So you always want to make sure that the defense is in check, and Holmgren didn't. How about Wiggins off the bench? What, 12, 13 points?
Andrew Wiggins he is poised to have a great season coming off the bench. And yes, Jokic, John Workman says Jokic for Denver had a great game. Looks out of shape. That's just how he looks.
Oh yeah,
the guy is built for mashed potatoes. But
he can play 40 minutes a night for 82 games, and he will still look the same. I mean,
and he does not care. He just wants to go home and run his horses.
Sure. Can you imagine the poor equine that has to carry his big ass?
He does those. He doesn't ride them.
Oh.
Those little one-man chariots.
Oh,
those races.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he
races them.
Yeah. Well, and Oklahoma City has a chance to tie it up. Obviously, they get a shot block there at the end. I mean, it's a season. I mean, nobody's going to go undefeated, and they're still catching a lot of respect, Jeremy, from the league as the team you may not want to have to deal with in the playoffs.
No, they had an off night and still hung right in there with Denver. Russell Westbrook had the best game he's had in 3 seasons. Is it Porter Jr. came on?
Mm-hmm. 21 or 24 points.
Had a really good game. Jokic is Jokic. They're tough to beat in their place, and Oklahoma City's already beat them once there this season. It's a long year. And they're going to build off of this.
Sure.
Everybody's going to have an off night defensively. Rotations are going to be late. Feet are going to be a little heavy.
6 games at home, bud. It cures everything. Of course,
it does.
I'll say this, Jeremy. One of those games is this Sunday against Golden State, and Buddy Hield just flat shot the lights out last night for them.
So what are they going to do? Are they going to have Casey Wallace, Caruso, and Dort all in the game at the same time, locking down shooters?
They have to. I mean,
it's going to be
who does Golden State even throw out there in the paint now?
Jonathan Kuminga,
Kevon Looney. Is he still?
I don't know.
What
was the guy that stepped on Kawhi's foot?
Oh, that was Zubac or
who was that guy? Zubac. What was his name? Oh, guys, help us out.
He's a Serbian dude.
Sasha. No, he's a Serbian guy.
Isn't he the same guy that chest bumped Westbrook?
Yeah. What was his name? Dirtiest player in the league.
Yeah.
He would slide under guys when they shoot threes, and he's the one who got Kawhi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. What is his name? Such a scumbag.
I don't know. Cleveland does get the Warriors tomorrow night, so little break. Golden State will travel to Oklahoma City and then have to face Oklahoma City, so that's not a bad thing. But
Is it a back-to-back, a 2-city back-to-back for them?
No, because let me see. So they beat Boston last night in the Garden. Then they got Cleveland tomorrow night in Cleveland, and then Sunday they travel to Oklahoma City. So they've got a day off in between.
No, Marty, it's not Pat Bev. I'm going to have to effort this. That's driving me nuts.
It's not. I could have sworn it's
not Zubac. He plays for the Clips.
He's some dirty European.
He is a filthy European. 15 dirtiest NBA players. Oh, Draymond Green's on here. Rick Mahorn, Chris Paul. The mailman.
Hey Google, who sprained Kawhi Leonard's ankle?
No, he came down on his Zaza Pachulia.
Pachulia. Yeah, he was such a dirtbag.
That guy was just scum.
And you know that guy really did a lot for the league to bring out the cowardice of Enes Kanter.
Oh yeah,
Kanter should have clocked him. And
Steven Adams probably would have ripped him in half. Like
Steven Adams would have tied him up like a pretzel. But no, Golden State 7-1. Jeremy, I mean, this is an interesting league, and above everything else is my Spurs are really struggling, and I think CP3 was a bad pickup.
Yeah, you probably should have maybe found somebody that was young to come in and grow with Wemby.
10-2-4 last night.
Yeah, it's still
with a 7'6" guy.
Yeah, hey,
well, they were without Sohan and Vassell.
You know, hey, the biggest steadying influence in that organization is out indefinitely. And God, I hope Pop's all right.
Yeah, probably a rough night without Pop. Politics aside, he's my favorite coach.
He's an amazing coach.
Boy, people really chunking at Steve Kerr on the politics end.
Well, yeah, he's a little yeah.
he's a little left.
Well, you know, his gun control stance is because his
Okay, I think it's when I look up anything online that you freeze up. My bad. You're there. I'm frozen on your end. I can read the captions, and we've lost Chuck again. Just dropped the politics bomb. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, there he is. Okay.
Yeah. Tried to pull up that golf clip on Google. It didn't work out.
Give me back my son.
I've abandoned my child. Oh gosh. So anyways, so NBA, even though it's early, it'll be interesting. And here's another one, Jeremy. Bronny James will be with the Lakers G League team while the Lakers are on the road. He will suit up with the Lakers for home games.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
You know, it's funny because when it all went down, the talking heads, particularly on the mothership, were really thrown out there, and this is almost a Trump move if you think about it. When you do something wrong, but you point out how wrong is done elsewhere, right?
Sure.
So the talking heads, particularly the little pinheaded one on the mothership, are talking about how nepotism rules in this country and in the world, how bank presidents bring their kids. Well, this ain't a bank. And you know what? Everybody hates those people.
And
so
it's
now
you've got
this
supposed to be a meritocracy, right?
Yeah. Now you've got this guy that you've been wanting to cram down my throat as being the greatest of all time in the sport of basketball. And he's so insecure, he has to remake a stupid animated movie that the real GOAT made back in the 90s. And then he has to do all this other stuff, has to put together super teams. And then he has to bring his son along, who really probably would not be a shoe-in starter at USC this season.
Nah, probably wouldn't. He was transferring to Akron. So USC, I don't know if he would have started there.
USC's a pretty salty squad this year. Yeah. And they probably only signed him because of who he is. So, I mean, you know, you throw out the corporate world and all the nepotism and that. Well, guess what? I hate those people too. And so, you know, I hate Joe Buck because he would not be where I don't care how good somebody says he is. He would not be where he is today if his last name wasn't Buck.
True.
Yeah.
He does have an unhealthy fascination with Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah. You know, and it just goes to show you. I mean, if I were, I'm just going to say, if I were an announcer, I'd really focus on Verlander, you know, just for, you know, other purposes, but whatever.
Well, for what's
no, we're not going to say it. We're not going to say it. No. So,
okay.
You know what I mean, though. But, you know, I mean, he does kind of go after after Kershaw, kind of like Collinsworth goes after Mahomes. Hey, are you surprised at how middle aged Chris Sims looks?
Well, yeah, he is.
I mean, he's got the childbearing hips or something. Give me back my son. I've
Does anybody
abandoned my
remember
child.
what that's from?
Huh?
Does anybody remember what that's from?
Isn't that Ransom?
Yes.
Yeah, Mel Gibson, right?
Yes. Does anybody remember what that's from?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Volume's up, bud. Hey, and you know the funny thing about it is I think when South Park took Mel to task on Passion of the Christ, and he was his animation was acting so crazy, I think they had him screaming, give me back my son," just out of nowhere.
I think they did too.
And he's in
Who would have known
Braveheart.
that they were right on about him?
Oh, he was in Braveheart face, and
And then weeks later, he called a cop sugar tits when he got pulled over.
well, that happened to me one time, Jeremy, and it's really insulting.
Sorry. I know you had to go to a lot of counseling after
I
that.
did.
This department paid for it, right?
Luckily, I skipped all my mandatory counseling sessions. You think I don't wake up and think about putting a bullet in my mouth? Mel Gibson. Love that guy. You look back to 1979, 1980. He was so cool in Mad Max.
Sure.
And then one time when we had the Encore series of networks, he did a show in the 80s called The Year of Living Dangerously. And that was so boring. It was just so bad.
I think I remember that. And
it
then
was,
he had his romantic comedy phase, and then his The Patriot and Braveheart. And,
he had Braveheart and then Braveheart Colonial Era.
And then We Were Soldiers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Dude was highly respected till he kind of started going off. But yeah, Give Me Back My Son, and then Daniel Day-Lewis, who's kind of a kook in his own right. There will be blood. Somebody screaming. So if somebody has yelled, "I've abandoned my child," surely someone has yelled, "I drink your milkshake," right?
I don't know.
Surely it's got to be out there.
I've heard mashed potatoes. Of course, get in the hole on a drive like.
There's one I heard one time back when SVP was just on radio, and it was from Game of Thrones. It was something like "Hold the Door" or something like that.
Hodor.
Maybe. I thought they were saying "Hold the Door," but maybe they're saying "Hodor." I don't know. I'm not a nerd. I didn't watch that. So
wow.
Oh God! But no, I've abandoned my child and give me back my son. Or pretty, and it's so funny, Jeremy, because I've detested those people for so long.
Yeah.
But then I see it on an Instagram reel, and I just die laughing. So, you put out a funny tweet this week. Was it about Mahomes?
It was.
Yeah. What was that again?
Oh, we were. There was the argument about should Todd Bowles have gone for 2.
Yeah.
I said you can't give the Reaper so many chances. Like Thanos, he is inevitable.
Yeah, you went Thanos on us. That's what it was, and once again, I'm kind of out on the Avengers stuff too. I'm sorry. Let's see here. No, there was something else, and I'm going to find it.
Oh my God, I'll look at my tweets.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't funny, but it made me feel old. So thank you. Matt Leinert's son commits to Southern Methodist, and I'll say this: it looks like to me, is he a class of 26? So he's a junior this year.
So, Muleshoe didn't throw him an offer?
That's what I mean. Here's the thing, and to get back on college football, which I love to do. Muleshoe not really feeling a lot of love from the USC alums.
Oh,
have you seen Lindell White pitching?
Oh yeah, I have.
Holy cow!
It is just it's
delicious. Lindell's probably a good 325 now. I don't want to cross that guy.
Yeah, you might eat him.
Yeah, I imagine Lincoln's about as dry as that brisket of his.
Lincoln just stay away from him until he wears himself out.
Is he? I mean, it's a $90 million buyout. Is he going anywhere in the offseason?
Not yet. Not after this season.
Can he turn it around?
Not this season. Oh hell, maybe they've lost what 5 games. They're 4-5. So this season's already lost. That's not what he was brought. He wasn't brought in to go 7-5.
No. So,
and
really
7-5 seasons. He's done one of the most amazing things I've ever seen a coach do, which is completely dismantle 2 blue blood programs in the span of 5 seasons.
Maybe that's was something you put out too. I can't remember.
Just absolute dork.
It's really. It just goes to show you. We always say coaches strike when the iron's hot. I guess he struck when the iron was hot with USC, but he will not strike again.
Well, we that last season we were talking. You and I and Corey that Lincoln is soft. He's just all sizzle, no steak.
Mm-hmm.
And he left here, and it bore that opinion bore fruit.
Mm-hmm.
That's just who he is.
Yeah. You and Connard and Rand were going back and forth about something. You used the Nate Bargatze, George Washington gift. That was pretty funny.
Knows.
Anyways, people should follow us both on Twitter. He's at Jeremy. What are you on Twitter?
Just my name, bro.
It's Jeremy Schroeder on Twitter, Law Dog Sports on Twitter. You'll see him all over all over the page. And then, because we have a lot of fun on Twitter, a lot of funny stuff. And then, like I said, our buddy Connard, he really goes at Arkansas liberals hard.
Arkansas liberals, players, anybody that breathes differently or different opinion. If a kid has a birthmark on his face, he's probably beating one of them to death.
Has Dan Narva checked in tonight?
He hasn't.
Okay, we miss you, Dan. We hope you're not being interrogated by the Homeland Security. If you are, Jeremy had nothing to do with it.
Nope.
So, anyways,
nothing at all.
I sent an invitation to Corey Hogue tonight, just in the thought that maybe he would see it and want to jump in. But I think he's pretty in depth, following a lot of Texas small college. He's got a tweet 6 hours ago says it's official. East Texas A&M, and I don't know if that is the I don't know if that was the Texas A&M Commerce or what that was, but he was tossing around Jarrell Jackson to us last week.
Yeah. Jarrell's
head coach at Texas College.
Yeah.
Surely an OC job or a co-OC job at Oklahoma would pay a little better than Texas College, probably.
It probably would, I would imagine. I don't know what division Texas College is in, but I had never heard of it before he started tweeting.
I think it's either NAIA or Division III.
Okay.
I know it's not Division II.
So not to beat politics to death here, but
let's do.
Trump's chief of staff is one.
Pat Summerall's daughter?
Susie Wiles. Yes, Pat Summerall's daughter.
I saw that. What was the name again?
Susie Wiles.
Okay.
She bears a striking resemblance to her father.
What was that, Tesla?
Yeah. I introduced my daughter to Tesla a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. You what now?
I introduced my daughter to Tesla
a
couple weeks ago. Yeah.
How'd that go over?
She enjoyed it. Mechanical
resonance or Edison's medicine?
I think I just hit her with the hits.
Okay. You're a streamer, aren't you?
Well, I
hate you.
I give her a couple songs and then she goes and listens to the albums.
Yeah. Okay, so since you mentioned that, I've thought about having a little bit of a music segment on the show. I watch a lot. I love music documentaries, and I love checking out old bands. I thought about doing this, and had we not had to push up the show to tonight, I probably would have had it posted on social media. But if you had to pick 3 seriously underrated hard rock songs of the 90s, and like underrated, when I say underrated, it's like you can't say Cowboys from Hell or Walk. No, because it's got to be kind of underrated to people who actually would listen to hard rock.
Okay. We're not
And first
talking
one that came
grunge?
to mind, just so I'll throw one out for me, was Helmet Unsung.
Dude, Helmet rocks. I
They
love
rocked,
Helmet.
and they
Yeah.
looked so normal.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they
It's
literally look like dudes from a frat, at OSU or something. I mean, just
Driving Nowhere by Helmet. My jam. Love that.
okay. Is that off of Betty or is that
Yes.
okay?
It's on the same album as Unsung.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
been 30 years.
So Unsung by Helmet, and really it got some play. I remember back in the days of '90s sports radio, Jeremy, where that was bumper music for some hosts.
Yeah.
I mean, it rocked, and they would intro, their segment with it. I mean, wish we could do that.
I know, right? That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking at the library here because I don't know if you know this, but I mainly listen to 90s rock because
Yeah. That was your wheelhouse.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the funny thing because
Albatross, Corrosion of Conformity.
Okay.
Massively underrated.
I'll have to check that out because that's not one I ever jumped into.
I totally whiffed on Corrosion, man. That album came out in 94.
Well, that's what's so funny is I go back 20 years plus, and like I think I told you a week or two ago, I've been on a Mastodon kick.
Mastodon's good.
Yeah. Godsmack came out in 99.
Yeah.
That was some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Now you could say like a Pantera song that wasn't as popular as like
Room 1,000 Years Wide, Soundgarden.
Okay. See, I like hearing the old version of Rusty Cage because I didn't catch it until Johnny Cash made it.
Yes. And it was amazing. So good.
And Stay Off My Wave or Keep It Off My Wave. That was a good Soundgarden. Alice in Chains, I don't look at any of theirs as underrated because every song they ever cut was classic.
And that album they released after Lane died. If you just imagine Lane singing it, it's their best album. But
you talking about the
Black
William
Turns
Duvall?
to Blue. Yeah, the Black Turns to Blue album.
What was the one? The Devil Created Dinosaurs or something like that?
Yeah, but Jerry Cantrell wrote the lyrics.
Oh yeah, he's out. I mean, Jerry's amazing.
He is.
And you know what's funny is I watched a 2-hour documentary about them. The Seattle Museum of Pop did a tribute to them. That's where I saw the Mastodon version of Again. Korn remade Wood.
Yes.
And several others, a couple others. The dude from Screaming Trees that's dead now, Scott Lanigan.
Screaming Trees is really good.
That's the thing. There's a lot of grunge that is not Pearl Jam that was really good in the 90s.
Mother Love Bone. Loud.
Mad Season.
Yeah. Well, that was Lane Staley's sign project.
Lane Staley and Mike McCready from Pearl Jam. That was just a grunge super group. But what's the hard song on that one? I don't know anything.
I don't know anything.
That one's a classic.
Well, River of Deceit.
Yeah,
I got that album.
But even like,
The Cult. Remember the Cult?
I do. What did they have in the 90s though?
Sonic Temple, I think, came out in 91.
89. Sorry.
89. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's funny because I've shared a Facebook post. I found a picture of back in the summer of 89. They had a show that came on 2 or 3 times a day on MTV. It was a 30-minute show called Hard 30. And basically it was all the hair metal bands. And I posted, I said, if you ever wonder why every Gen Xer can sing the exact words to Once Bitten, Twice Shy, it's because they played it every day, 3 times a day.
My gosh.
Hard 30.
No kidding.
Let's see.
Anything by Weezer?
Yeah. Sweater was pretty good. Buddy Holly
song
was one of my favorites.
In the garage. Yeah.
And you
My
know
Name
what's
is
funny
Jonas.
is like, Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Color and the Shape came out in the 90s.
That's true.
I'd say 5 Minutes Alone, Pantera. That's one of the underrated for them.
This Love.
Well, yeah, see, that's one of those ones I started to throw out, and I thought, well, really, if you know Pantera, that's not underrated at
That's
all.
true.
But yeah, This Love, man, and let's see. Well, there's a Loudwire article. Let me see. So Godsmack came out in '97, and that one, the original Godsmack album, has just a ton of what the kids call bangers. Deftones.
I do like the Deftones.
Deftones.
My Own Summer.
Green Day was a pretty hard rocking band when they
weird.
came out.
Cemetery Gates. Now I'm looking at my Pantera library. I'm Broken.
Oh, yeah.
Floods.
Say again?
Floods, Pantera.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check that one out. Let's see here. User Illusion was a big release for.
I remember standing in line at the Hastings on 24th Avenue and Main Street, waiting to get the double cassette.
Is it? Yeah, 24th down there. Isn't that a Crunch Fitness now?
It is a Crunch Fitness now.
Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah. Now they rage.
Evil Empire
rage
came out in the 90s. Huh?
Now they rage for the machine, but
oh yeah. Well,
Meshuggah. Oh hell, Megadeth had a bunch in the 90s.
Stone Temple Pilots.
STP.
You know, I didn't like Stone Temple Pilots when they released what was it, Core?
Yeah,
their first one. But by the time they put out Big Empty and Interstate Love Song, I was down with that.
So that was on Purple?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Faith No More.
Do you like Faith No More? Yeah.
Somebody put on Twitter the other day.
Midlife Crisis.
Yeah. Do you like Presidents of the United States of America? I love Presidents of the United States of America.
I also introduced my daughter to that.
Peaches or Lump?
I was trying to Mach 5.
Okay. Moving to the country, going to get a lot of peaches.
Bug City, you know, we got weird with it. It was great.
Yeah. Well, and it's so cool. And I'll tell you this, as a father, my oldest son will be 30 next January.
System of a Down.
See, I didn't know them it was 2002 when I found them.
Yeah.
But did they have a release in the 90s?
They probably did.
Okay. See, 01 and 02 was a big year for new metal with me. I mean, because there used to be a channel called MTV
Yeah.
When you first got the expanded digital cables, it was one of them. And they played all that stuff like Mudvayne and early Slipknot and stuff like that.
Hey, Tool was 90s.
Tool was 90s. Yep. That's, well, like I said, are they underrated though? Because, well, I don't know. If you're into 90s hard rock, Tool's not that underrated.
No, I mean, if you realized how happy I was when they released a new album, they were not.
You were, and I think we worked together back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were psyched. So anyway, but as a father, I gotta say, one day when we lived in Norman, me and my oldest son are driving down the road, and the youngest son has got game too. But we're driving down the road, and Iron Maiden "Run for the Hills" comes on, and I roll the windows down. We're both just screaming it out the window going down 48th Street, and you might have heard it from your house.
Sure,
but we
not heard. Hey,
yeah, knock it off, you kids. But I pulled over and I said, "Son, I could cry right now because I realize
it's super not underrated, but you don't realize how good they were until you look back at their catalog. Is the Cars?
Oh, I'm big on the Cars. Yeah. And really everything up until the 80s.
You like Clutch?
Man, Brady Benton on 101.7 The Zoo in Elk City. He's a good friend of mine. Afternoon DJ there. He is a huge Clutch fan. I've got some digging to do on that because if you're into it, he's into it. I could probably say it's pretty safe.
Find your little space grass, Electric Worry, The Regulator.
You know, there's a song that I hear every once in a while on 90s on 9, and I hated it in the 90s, but now I hear it and I'll listen to it and I'll jam out. For All in All by Space Hog.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah, it's amazing how you grow with these things. Yeah, I couldn't stand Smashing Pumpkins back in the 90s. And yeah, I love them now.
It's funny. I had a friend that was a huge Smashing Pumpkins fan, but he hated everything after everything from Bullet with Butterfly Wings on.
Yeah.
Totally nothing but their early stuff.
Yeah.
Scott Smith, if you're out there listening, Scotty Body. All right. Well, we need to get out of here. Game this weekend. It's an evening game in Columbia. So we will, I don't know. I hate to commit to the wrap up show, but we bailed last week. They're just, honestly, Jeremy, breaking down an FCS game was just going to be, I mean, you were there. We didn't do last week, did we?
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Cunhado's, La Cunhado's.
Yeah, you were at La Brasa having family time.
That's right.
How was the food there, by the way?
It's pretty good.
Yeah?
It's
better
pretty
than
good.
The one next Mama Vecca in Norman?
Man, I love me some Mama Vecca. But,
love some Mama Vecca.
Yeah,
I need to get
good.
to Norman, and we need to go to Juan del Fuego.
Yeah?
I need some chilaquiles.
Chilaquiles. Oh, the new season of What We Do in the Shadows has come out. So if you haven't watched that, you really should watch it.
Which one? Netflix or what?
It's on Hulu.
Oh no, I'm not on Hulu.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, well it's a
So
vampire show. It's completely stupid. It's
What
right
We
up
Do
your
in the
alley.
Shadows, huh?
Yep.
Okay. I'll do. Hey, here's the thing, and this is probably getting me in trouble, but I think what game was it last week? I bootlegged on YouTube. Yeah, I clicked on one of those links. I was like, "Oh, there's a game that I don't have." What do you know about that?
Have the FCC come through your windows?
They may have. They're busy going after Saturday Night Live. Did you see? I think it was Super 70 Sports posted a deal, said that time you got caught with it on Channel 99. It was the Blurred Spice Network.
I'm just ready for more sports to hit my Twitter feed and less
politics.
What it is now.
I'm ready to quit getting text messages from Ted Cruz, Kerry Lake, J.D. Vance, and Trump. But I guess as an independent, I was probably in their wheelhouse target.
Yeah, you should text Trump back.
Yeah. And speaking of election, the sheriff in Oklahoma County race, the challenger, who was a former coworker of mine, we live in Custer County, Oklahoma. I could not vote in the Oklahoma County sheriff's race. We have two addresses separated since 2019 when we left Oklahoma County to move to Cleveland County. And what do I get in my mailbox out here? Vote for Sheriff Waylon Cubitt. And two things. I saw his ads on TV, did not agree with him. But on top of that is I couldn't vote for you. And how'd you get my damn address out here in western Oklahoma?
I don't know. I guess that's where your pension check goes.
The pension system.
That's those.
They sold us out.
That's right.
And I won't have it. Give me back my son. Anyway, so OU, Missouri, OSU, TCU will have a lot to wrap up Saturday night on the College Football Wrap-Up Show. We'll set it for 9 o'clock. If it looks like that game's close, or we can push it back, we'll just stay advised on our Facebook and Twitter pages. But we're going to switch back to YouTube. So anybody watching this, subscribe and set your notifications for when we go live on YouTube, because I'm not going to deal with this freezing up mess that we've dealt with tonight anymore. We're done.
Sounds good.
All right. Love the hat, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right. He's Jeremy Schroeder, ruler of the airways. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog. This is Law Dog Sports, the Weekend Big Show. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, X, and Instagram at Law Dog Sports. You can leave us a message on the website at lawdogsports.com. You can watch the video of this episode on our YouTube channel at Law Dog Sports, and you can listen on SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we'll talk to you Saturday night, round about 9 o'clock for the College Football Wrap-Up Show.